Hi, I'm Dawn from theminimalmom.com, and as part of our series on simplifying Christmas, coming up next, we're going to talk about how to deal with difficult family members. Well, I'm Dawn, glad to be joined by my twin sister, Diana. Today, as we talk about difficult relatives during the holidays, we feel so fortunate to not have any of them.
Yep, so this conversation for us is purely hypothetical or theoretical, philosophical.
Yep.
No reference to any family members.
Mom, if you are watching this, this is not about you or our family.
Yep, no sideways comments here, references to our childhood, anything like that.
And so a few years ago, one of our contributors wrote a really great post based on the Serenity Prayer.
Yeah.
And so real quickly, if you know it, it's the ability to change the things you can, know the things you can't change, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah.
And so, the first step of this then is to realize what things can we change this holiday season.
Yeah. And so some of the tips are just like so practical. I think we all know we have more patience because you feel this with your kids or your family or your spouse when you're rested, when you're fed. I can just tell, I'm like the Snickers commercial.
Yeah.
Like when I'm getting hungry, like my patience is just like this. And I'm like, must eat.
Yeah.
So if you think about that before you go to a family gathering, especially if it's one that might be more difficult, make sure that you're rested. Make sure that you've eaten. The kids have had snacks.
Yeah.
Try to not be out running errands and doing last minute shopping right before you go.
Absolutely. And I know for us, we're in Minnesota, so the kids can get stir crazy, so we'll bring the snow boots and snow pants and hats so they can go outside and play. Sometimes we'll plan extra activities that they can, go out and do.
Well, one thing I've actually caught myself doing is, how sometimes you're tempted to talk about how bad it's going to be, or call your sister and be like, do we have to do this? I mean, again, not our family.
No.
And so I've even noticed, if you change the way you talk about things, because you're setting the tone and the expectation, and your kids are picking up on that. Your husband probably doesn't need any more fuel, right? Or I don't, and it's like the more you talk about it, the more you reinforce it. So trying to kind of change the tone of the day. Yep, we packed our snacks, everybody got a nap, here we go. We're going to make the best 2 hours out of this.
And so the second step is just to recognize the things that you can't change. And usually that's people.
Well, and I think you do a really good job with this. So grandma, for example, I mean, to her credit, she's raised a bunch of kids, and so invariably the conversation will turn to parenting, and maybe the fact that your 3-year-old isn't potty trained yet. And so tips then, and how to get him back on track and stuff. But you do a really good job listening, honoring, and not trying to explain how you've read every article on Baby Center and, you have a plan.
It's not how people do it these days, Grandma. It's funny because we'll get back in the car and my husband Tom will look at me and he'll be like, why did you say we're going to do that? We're not really going to do that, potty training our stuff. And I'm like, well, if you listened closely, I was just saying things like, oh, that's a good idea. I haven't thought about that before. Oh, is that how you did it? That's really cool. So honoring the people in your life that are they're just trying to help, understanding where they're coming from.
And recognizing they're probably not going to change. If you try to reason with them, if you bring the articles from Baby Center, and so just being able to, accept and honor and kind of go with it.
And so the third step is the wisdom to know the difference between those things you can change and those things you can't.
I think a big trap that is easy to fall into here is giving advice that people aren't asking for. Because, you may think they're too young to be married, or you may think they don't need another new car, and stuff like that. And you may be right.
Yeah.
But what happens when you just start offering advice that isn't asked for, they usually start to shut down or defend.
Isn't it funny? We'll be at Christmas and I'll be like, is she really letting her 4-year-old have a can of pop? But I have to catch myself and just be like, let them be who they are. It's Christmas. It's probably the only time they get it. Who cares? It is what it is.
But that wisdom to know the difference is, hey, if they do pull you aside and say, wow, I notice your kids aren't bouncing off the walls, well, we try to limit their sugar after 2 p.m., or whatever. And understanding when someone is genuinely asking for your input and when you're just giving advice that they're not going to follow and then you're going to be griping about it when you get in the car because they never listened to you and their life hasn't changed. Here they are again in debt and their kids are out of control.
Right.
So.
Well, we do hope you don't feel alone if you do have some difficult family that you're dealing with this year, and we hope it goes smoothly. And of course, the best compliment you can give us is to subscribe to our channel, and a thumbs up helps us as well. We'll also put that article down in the comments. It's a good read.